event. And today's event is Unakoti site, the world tangible World Heritage Site, Unakoti. And I am now called my assistant, that is Binita Daura, to hand it over platform as the moderator of this event. Please, Benita, platform is yours.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, I don't know what happened to my camera. It's not opening actually. I have been trying for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, sir, thank you so much for inviting me to moderate this session. In fact, I'm honored to be a part of this program. Very good evening, everyone. On behalf of ICOMOS Northeast India, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to today's webinar, Unfold Northeast, Rock Sculptures and Reliefs of Unakoti in Tripura. So this event is part of the ongoing series of by the working group of the Northeast Zone, NSC Cultural Landscapes, NSC Cultural Tourism, and the Delphic Council of Northeast India. So our focus today is on Unakoti, a site of immense cultural, historical, and spiritual significance located in the northeast state of Tripura. So the site is renowned for its breathtaking rock-cut sculptures and intricate reliefs, some even dating back to the 8th and 9th centuries. Well, all of you must be aware, Unakoti, the meaning of which in Bengali is less than a crore, and it is steeped in the local legends and history, making it a unique gem in India's cultural heritage. So its inclusion on UNESCO's tentative World Heritage Site lists underscores its global importance. So let us today delve into the fascinating history, challenges, and strategies for promoting and preserving this extraordinary site. So moving on with the agenda now, we have with us our respected Dr. Rima Huja ma'am. Ma'am is present right now.
Yes.
I would like, good evening,
Okay, I'm unmuted.
So I would like to invite Rima Huja ma'am, who is actually to give introduction about ma'am. It's going to be a very long list. Ma'am is now currently the director of Maharaja Savai Man Singh Museum, Jaipur, director Jaigarh Port, trustee Maharaja Ganga Singh Ji Trust Bikaner, managing trustee Jaipur Virasit Foundation, and the list is very long. She has been an associate professor at Otta Open University, visiting fellow at the Institute of Development Studies, director Minnesota University, MSID India program, faculty director New York State Independent College Consortium for Study in India program, and vice president ICOMOS India. And she has held various academic posts and serves on several governing boards, committees, and councils. Ma'am, we are honored to have you here with us today. So before we begin with the technical session, I would like to invite you to give the opening address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Vinita ji. And I think here I'm just a colleague. So we are all colleagues, and we are all going to be hearing from our eminent speakers, Professor Dr. Dhananjay Datta and Sri Partha Datta, in a while about Unakoti. But I'm grateful to the Northeast chapter of ICOMOS India, and of course to you, Vinita ji, for comparing or carrying this forward, because this gives me a chance to say a little bit about this very tough journey from coming on to the tentative list to actually getting inscribed, which obviously one hopes the Unakoti ensemble of sculpture will be very soon. So if you bear with me for a few minutes, yes, the site is very exciting and we will all be hearing about it. But just like getting onto the tentative list is not easy, in the same way, having got onto the list, it's not so much how unique a place may be or how exceptionally beautiful the surroundings or the actual component can be. It's also the way in which the dossier can be thorough and other factors be taken care of. I'm not going to detail all of them. They are there in the operational guidelines. But really, it is a whole combination that makes something a World Heritage Site. So, of course, UNESCO uses through ICOMOS, and then it gets the state party to present the dossier. With all of that, the presentation of the dossier, it doesn't have only a description. And thank you. Thank you. I can see myself better now also. So it is much more than just putting everything we know about a site. The other aspects which come in is you have to find which of the criteria suit. So in recent years, all the countries are trying to put their criteria which go up to number 8, and the initial ones are to do with cultural heritage. The later ones are to do with natural heritage. You can have sites which are cultural sites, mixed sites, natural sites, even transnational sites. But the tendency has been that you put everything down. If it is living heritage, and that's not the way in which it's really appreciated by UNESCO. So if we can find the criteria which match perfectly, it helps our cause much more. Similarly, we also need to check on the operational guidelines, which are easily available. And for any of the younger students who will be either watching us live or through YouTube later on or Facebook, they also need to look at the operational guidelines and see which of those aspects we are able to justify. So if we can say why this particular site why is it exceptional, what is so special about it, which criteria does it meet, and then this whole line which is about comparison. So if I may make my own comment, we don't need to talk about this site being the Angkor Wat of Northeast India. This site is the Unakoti of the world. Full stop. That's good enough for the world. We don't have to. Yes, you will in a dossier be making comparisons with other parts. But when we are talking about it, we are exceptional, right? At least I hope you will all agree with me. So it's important to ensure that the site has protection, legal protection, community's goodwill or the goodwill of the community or communities in the plural, whoever is using that area. The status should be clear. In this case, we know that the Archaeological Survey of India is looking after it. But if we talk about any site, and naturally one wants to see more and more sites according protection. So whether it is being looked after by the State Department of any of our Indian states or by the ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, the legal protection angle should be clear. And I know my esteemed the speakers today will talk about the management plan also. So we need to make sure that our management plan looks at the long term, short term, anything else that can come in. We also need to talk in terms of what is going to be in the main area. And if people are willing to agree not to be doing high rises in those areas, fortunately, it won't apply so much to this wonderful site because I don't think people are fighting to make high rises there, at least I hope not, but also in the buffer area. So many of these parameters need to looked at. And really, one other factor that I want to bring in is we always look forward to the technical mission of the international expert who comes in to look at the site. And that is only one part of this whole long process. It's an important part, but equally important is, like in a play, you have things happening in front, but there's backstage. So there are desk reviews which go on, and that's with more than one individual. It goes to several people, and their reports also play a major role. So they will look at a different angle to what the technical mission, evaluation mission expert does. And then, of course, eventually all of this gets to the World Heritage units, who then kind of look for other reasons to make us be more precise in what we are presenting. Now, if all of this sounds like I'm trying to daunt you, that's not the idea. One naturally looks forward to having more and more sites from from India in the World Heritage List, and in that process, more and more angles, whether it is the living heritage angle, whether it is the built heritage angle, whether it is sites of natural, uh, exceptional natural heritage brought to light, we would want to focus on those also. But in this particular case, I'm going to stop now, and I'm eagerly looking forward to our two speakers and to seeing visuals, I hope, on Unakoti. Dilipji, thank you once more for giving me this opportunity of speaking to all of us, to hearing my own voice also, and to our speakers. Thank you very much for agreeing to be part of ICOMOS Northeast Chapter's presentation today. Back to you, Vinita ji. I'm putting myself on mute.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful listening to you. And we know that you have been associated with ICOMOS for such a long time. And yes, I 100% agree with your concerns, regarding the systematic effort that we have to make to actually upgrade Unakoti to a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So today we have two speakers with us, Professor Dhananjay Datta and Ms. Partha Dattaji. And it's now my privilege to introduce our first speaker, Professor Dr. Dhananjay Datta, who is the Dean of Research and Development at ICFI University, Tripura. And Dr. Datta is a distinguished academician with extensive expertise in economics and marketing. And Dr. Datta will be presenting on upgradation of Unakoti Archaeological Site as WHS, History and Archaeological Importance. So over to you, Professor Datta.
Thank you, Dr. Binita. And good evening to Dr. Rima Hoja, Madam, and good afternoon to Mr. Dilip Chakraborty. Namaskar, Madam, and other distinguished guests present on this virtual platform. Now, before starting my presentation, I would like to thank everybody present here, especially Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited, who have recommended for this presentation. Now, with this, I will request you to share the slide.
Arusi, please.
Yes, sir, I'm sharing. So is it visible right now? Hello, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, I'm presenting it now. Okay, so just let me know when you want to move forward.
Yeah, right. So as good evening, everybody again. So as all of you know that today my topic of presentation is upgradation of Unakoti Archaeological Site as World Heritage Site, historical and archaeological importance. So I request to move to the next slide. Yeah. So these are the some photographs I have collected from the Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited website. These are the current photographs. So from these also it is highly visible that the Unakoti's archaeological importance in the history of India, or you can say world also. So this is basically situated in Kailashohar in Unakoti district in Tripura, India. So next slide. Now see, like as the topic is upgradation of Unakoti archaeological site as World Heritage Site, history and archaeological importance. So this presentation will explore the rich history and archaeological significance of Unakoti, a unique rock cut sculpture site in Tripura, India, and examines the potential benefits of its upgradation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is another picture I have given here. So from this also it is clear that what is the importance is there. Next. Now this is basically the content of today's presentation. First I will deal with the acknowledgement, then introduction, then location and geographical setting of Unakoti archaeological site, historical background and significance of Unakoti, historical significance, archaeological importance, then why UNESCO World Heritage status, Unakoti, a unique rock cut sculptures and carvings, significant sculptures, panels and reliefs of Unakoti, archaeological investigation and findings at Unakoti. Then next, challenges in preserving and challenges in preserving and protecting Unakoti archaeological site. Then proposed action plan for upgradation, potential benefits of Unakoti, inclusion in UNESCO World Heritage List. Then finally, conclusion, recommendation for sustainable development of Unakoti. And finally, references. Next. Now, this is basically the acknowledgement. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Northeast Zone, ICOMOS India, who invited me for this today's presentation, which I am doing now. And then Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited. Actually, Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited have recommended my name to Northeast Zone ICOMOS. So I thank you to them also. Then, for preparing this PPT, I have used some AI artificial intelligence tools. These are, first one is Gamma AI. Gamma AI is basically specialized AI tool to develop PowerPoint presentations. It is freely available. Then I have used Google Gemini AI, ChatGPT, OpenAI, then WhatsApp Meta AI. So I have taken help of these AI tools to develop my PPT, which is freely available, and I thank you to all of them. Next. Now coming to the introduction, as all of you know that Unakoti is a unique heritage site located in Tripura, India, known as the land of 1 less than 1 crore. Unakoti features magnificent rock carvings, stone image, and murals. It is basically all about date backs to the 7th to 9th century AD. It is associated with the Shivatai cult of Hinduism. Then we all are very much having aspirations to elevate its status to a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Next. Now coming to the location and geographical setting of Unakoti archaeological site. Here location is basically Unakoti is situated in the state of Tripura, India. Especially it is lies in the Unakoti district in near Kailashohar, Tripura, India. Then geographical setting. In the later part of my presentation, I have given the geographic map also, Unakoti map, Tripura map. I have given all the link also. But here just to brief about this geographical setting, the site is characteristics by its rugged terrains surrounded by hills and forest, which Madam already said earlier. The natural landscape of Unakoti adds to its beauty and contributes to its unique ambience. Next. Now, historical background and significance of Unakoti. Now, from the ancient legends, there is importance lies, and the importance lies like legends state that Lord Shiva was on his way to Kashi, but he stopped here and spent one night and carved 1 crore 10 millions, that is goddess, living one himself. Hence, Unakoti meaning one less than a crore. So this is basically unique throughout the world, this concept and this what happened. So this uniqueness bring it to the cultural heritage part. Then early historical reference. Archaeological evidence suggests that Unakoti dates back to the 7th to 9th century CE. CE and AD is same. Then cultural importance. The site served as a significant center of religious and artistic activity, offering a glimpse into ancient Indian culture and beliefs. Next. Now, historical significance. Ancient origin. It is dates back to 7th to 9th century CE during the regime of Hindu rules in the region. Methodological association linked to the Lord Shiva and the story of his journey with 1 crore god and goddess. Legend state only one stayed behind, leading to the name Unakoti, one less than 1 crore. Then cultural conference reflects the blending of Hindu and tribal tradition, showcasing a rich and diverse cultural heritage. Next. Now, archaeological importance. In archaeological importance, monumental rock carvings feature a 30-foot high rock relief of Lord Shiva, which is known as Unakoteshwara Kal Bhairava. Later on, I will show you on video also, 1 minute video, where the whole things are being shown. Depiction of other deities like Ganesha, Durga, and Vishnu. Artistic style, intricate carvings blend local tribal arts with mainstream Hindu iconography. Unique representation of tantric influences. Then extensive area spread over a forest area. The site includes rock shelters, sculptures, and ancient ruins. Preservation challenges, erosion, then vegetation overgrowth, and lack of proper documentation threaten its integrity. Next. Now, why UNESCO World Heritage status? For outstanding universal value, which will give exceptional artistic and spiritual significance, then rare integration of nature and human creativity. Global recognition, highlighting the heritage of Northeast India. Then attracting international tourists and researchers. Then conservation benefits, access to the international funding and expertise. Enhanced focus on preservation and sustainable tourism. Next. Yeah. Unakoti, a unique rock cut sculptures and carvings. Here, rock cut sculpture, the site is adorned with the hundreds of intricately carved rock cut sculptures, showcasing the skill of ancient artisans. These sculptures depict a wide range of deities, mythical figures, and scenes from Hindu mythology. Then giant faces. The most prominent feature of Unakoti is the colossal head of Lord Shiva carved out of a massive rock face. This majestic sculpture served as a testament to the artistic grandeur of the site. Unique style. The sculptures at Unakoti exhibit a distinct style, combining elements of both Pallava and Gupta art, reflecting the diverse artistic influence of the period. Next, significant sculptural panels and relief of Unakoti. The Shiva head, which is the uniqueness of the Unakoti. These iconic sculptures serve as a focal point of Unakoti. The massive head, carved out of the solid rock, exhibits intricate detail and the serene expression. Then next is the Durga panel. This panel depicts the goddess Durga slaying a demon. This is a classic representation of Durga's power and ferocity and is one of the site's most well-known carvings. Next. Yeah. Archaeological investigation and findings at Unakoti. Excavation. Extensive archaeological investigation have been undertaken at Unakoti, uncovering numerous artifacts, including sculptures, inscriptions, and pottery. These findings have provided valuable insight into the site's history, cultural context, and artistic traditions. Next, inscriptions. This site features a number of inscriptions, including those of Sanskrit and Prakrit. This inscription offers valuable information about the site's patronage, the social and religious life of people, and the artistic tradition of the time. Then next, challenges in preserving and protecting Unakoti archaeological site. First is erosion and weathering. The site location is a humid and tropical environment makes it vulnerable to erosion and weathering, which can damage the sculptures and carvings. Limited resources. The preservation and conservation of Unakoti requires a significant resource which may be limited, especially in the context of developing nation. Lack of awareness. A lack of public awareness about the site's historical and cultural importance can lead to vandalism and neglect, further endangering its preservation. Next, potential benefit of Unakoti's inclusion in UNESCO World Heritage List. There are 4 main benefits. First one is international recognition. Its inclusion in UNESCO World Heritage List will bring global recognition to Unakoti, highlighting its historical and cultural importance. Then tourism promotion. It will promote tourism to the site, boosting the local economy and generating employment opportunities for the community. Third is conservation funding. UNESCO's designation will attract increased funding for conservation efforts, ensuring the site's long-term preservation. Then next is cultural preservation. The site will become a focal point for the preservation and promotion of India's culture and heritage, attracting researchers, artists, and cultural enthusiasts. Next. Now, proposed action plan for upgradation of Unakoti. First is research and documentation. A comprehensive archaeological studies can be done. Then detailed documentation of sculptures and their cultural context can be prepared. Then conservation efforts. In conservation efforts, addressing the erosion and environmental threats, collaborating with experts for restoration, community involvement, engaging local tribes and communities in preserving activities, promoting awareness of its cultural significance, tourism development, developing eco-friendly infrastructure, create guided tours and interpretation centers. Then last is application process, collaborating with the Archaeological Survey of India, then preparing and submit a robust nomination dossier to the UNESCO. Next, now coming to the conclusion and recommendation for the sustainable development of Unakoti. The upgradation of Unakoti as a UNESCO World Heritage Site is a significant step towards preserving and promoting a unique cultural and historical treasures. By embracing sustainable tourism practice, fostering community involvement, and implementing effective conservation strategies, we can ensure that Unakoti continues to inspire generations to come. Unakoti is not just a heritage site, but a testament to India's rich culture and spiritual history. Upgrading its status will not only ensure its preservation, but also bring global attention to the cultural treasures of Northeast India. Through collective efforts, Unakoti can achieve the recognition it truly deserves as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Let us work together to preserve Unakoti as a World Heritage Site, urge government authorities, NGOs, and international organizations to support the upgradation project, highlighting the importance of public-private partnership. Now, it can have, brighter future for Unakoti, which will need to develop like vision for Unakoti as a world-class heritage site. Then emphasizing the long-term benefits of preservation and sustainable development. Next. Now, this is basically the some information. For this presentation, I have used visual aid like slideshow. In slideshow, I have given information, historical image and photographs of current state of the site of Unakoti. Then this is the basically tool link, which is having the map and website for location of Unakoti in Tripura, India, and detailed site map highlighting the attraction. This tool link. Then one video link of 1 minute for documentary on the history and culture of Unakoti and virtual tour of the site. So I will request to click on the YouTube link so that we can go through the video. This is just of 1 minute. Please click on the video. Yeah. It's showing.
78
Is
kilometers
the
away
sound
from
audible?
capital Agra.
Yes, yes. Ma'am, you start from the beginning. Sound is okay. Make it large. Zoom. Yeah. Good, good. Very good. Sound is not coming. Sound is not coming.
Audible now?
Yes.
The sound is coming?
178 kilometers away from capital Agartala. Unakoti in North Tripura is surrounded by hills and lush greenery and a Shaivism site. Various Hindu gods and goddesses have been sculptured on the Raghunandan hill. Among all sculptures built in the 8th and 9th centuries, the 30 feet long Unakoteshwar Kalbhairav Shiva is famous. According to the ancient literature, the count of total sculpture at the site is 1 less than 1 crore, and accordingly, the name of the place is Unakoti. Visit Unakoti, the biggest bas relief in the world.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Next, I am having the references slide.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Dhananjay Datta, for your wonderful presentation. In fact, we were really enlightened by your presentation, because there are so many aspects which I personally haven't been actually, that much engaged in the topic, although I knew about it, but it's really something very, very new and informative for me. And now I think I will take a few questions from the audience. So I request the audience to ask questions if they have any doubts and queries. Hello, Unakoti sir, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, so the house is open for discussion, sir. So we can ask questions.
If any question not come from the house, then please go ahead.
There is a question in the chat box from Madhu.
Yeah. How big is the site in terms of acres? Patho Babu, yeah. In terms of acres, is there any measurement?
No, I have no idea.
No.
Actually, it is totally controlled by archaeological department.
But
All
it's
right.
a
You have
very
mentioned
big area, spread over, like 5 to 6 kilometer area.
Yes, 5 to 6 kilometer area.
in its natural surroundings, sir.
Yes, hill area,
Yes.
natural, greeneries, natural beauties are there. During winter, it's very attractive and, very, right time to visit. Even in the summertime also, the place is very good to visit.
So you have spoken.
Due to its greenery, forest area.
Sir, I have just one query. Like you have spoken about, like what the environmental threats it is facing now, and you have talked about erosion and withering going on in the site. Has there been any kind of restoration activity in Unakoti?
This is basically now, protecting by Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited. Okay. So they are taking good measures and they are promoting tourism also there. Now, see, this is basically a threat in present, in future also, because, in surrounding areas, cutting of trees are going on, then new roads are being constructed. So new things are, development projects are coming up. Okay, so, the protection measures are very much required to protect the originality of the Unakoti.
Yes, sir. So
Otherwise,
is
it will
there
be
any
so
international
long.
funding, sir? Have you ever received any international funding for it?
This I cannot, Patho Babu.
Actually, आप कुछ करना चाहते हैं इस पे तो आर्कियोलॉजिकल साइट से परमिशन लेना पड़ता है. ये हमारा त्रिपुरा टूरिज्म का कंट्रोल में नहीं है. ये टोटली कंट्रोल करते हैं आर्कियोलॉजिकल साइट.
Archaeology.
There is a hand raised by Professor Juti.
All right.
हमारा कुछ करना है, कंस्ट्रक्शन करना है, रास्ता करना है, तो भी परमिशन लेना पड़ेगा आर्कियोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट से. ये हमारा कंट्रोल में नहीं है.
Okay, so Professor Jyoti has a query.
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, Professor Dhananjay ji. It was a lovely presentation. Just to tell you my background, that I am from art history, and I myself have visited this site, few years back. And since I am very interested in iconography, could you please highlight some of the iconographical identifications of the sculptures? Because there is one which relates to Kirat Arjun, and you also talk about certain, influence of Kok Baroque language, and also Subrai Khang, what kind of association it has. This is one. And second is that when you talked about mythological stories, you said that, Shiva carved these images. As far as I know, there are different mythological stories in which there is a mention of a sculptor who wanted Shiva to reside in that place. And when Shiva came with his family, I mean, it's a long story. I don't want to go into the detail, but could you please highlight that a bit?
Yeah. Now, see, first I will start with the tribal communities and Kokborok. Actually, Kokborok is a language which is being spoken by the tribal in Tripura, and they are basically the originally from Tripura. And this area is basically surrounded by tribals also. And if developments should be taken place, so tribal and Hindus here having almost same kind of tradition, so they should be considered. Then again coming to the iconography, like you have seen the pictures which I have already shown. So from there also it is clearly highly visible the iconography of this earlier artistic work. Okay, then you asked about one more things. Can you repeat again, madam?
The mythological stories associated.
Yeah, mythological story. Actually, see, I have also did some studies. Now, from these studies, one thing, it is mentioned in the Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited website also, that Lord Shiva, along with Unakoti goddess. So if we include Lord Shiva, then it is coming to one crore. Okay. So he was going through Kashi and passing through this way. And they have stayed here for a night. And Lord Shiva asks other goddess that tomorrow before sunrises, all of us need to wake up and we need to walk from here. But next morning, except Lord Shiva, nobody have wake up. So that is basically the point. And Lord Shiva became angry and he convinced all these goddess and he moved away to the for Kashi. This is basically what I have learned.
And there are about, there is a Ganesha panel in which one is seated Ganesha and two are standing ones. Why the representation of Ganesha in three forms? I mean, are they different or they are, similar only? Just the posture is different. Would you like to throw some light on that?
These are actually clearly I cannot tell you, because some says that these are the three things having three meanings, and some says it is one. So there are mysteries there. So that clarity is not there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
May I ask a question also?
Yes,
Or
please.
make a comment? So, Professor Jyoti has asked a very interesting question, and Professor Dhananjay has given us part of the answer. In his answer, I think, Jyotiji, lies the rest of the answer to your question, because there is obviously a strong local link to the site. Like you mentioned that there's a language also that they use, a certain community, and then there is an overarching narrative which is maybe slightly different. तो local क्या मानते हैं उसके ऊपर दूसरी परतें हैं जो ये वाली कहानी, जैसे आपने कहा, ये भी एक कहानी है कि कोई कल्लू नाम के व्यक्ति ने मूर्ति बनानी शुरू की because there was a travel happening and Shivji didn't want to stay and Parvati ji wanted to see. There is a statue of Durga. There isn't one, I think. I don't know.
Yes,
Of
yes, Durga statue
Parvati
is there,
there.
madam.
Haan. But this man worked all night, but at the end of it, he could not make the 1 crore statues. So then Shivji continued his journey. Now this is again interesting because we are finding two layers of stories, and it is your field. Maybe you can help the Tripura. You've been to the site, so not just the Tripura tourism development authorities, but also whenever the dossier is being prepared, this comparison will be very useful.
Ma'am,
So
just
many
want to
aspects
tell you-
UNESCO needs to know.
Sorry. Just
Yeah.
want to tell you that I've been working extensively on one article on Unakoti itself, and I thought that I'll be getting some inputs, and I surely did. But I'm going very deep into the iconographical identifications, and I was very specific to understand why the three Ganesha images are shown. I mean, if you look at the attributes, because my area is full of, it deals with iconography, and every symbol associated is very important. So I've been into it. Probably it will come within 6 months, the article will be out.
That will be great. That will be a very good resource also for
Yeah.
whenever the dossier is prepared.
Right.
And can you very briefly share with us why do you feel are there three different forms of Ganesh?
It's, like the site, I mean, where you find the Shiva heads, it's on the top. And when you come lower down, there is a panel. I mean, Professor Dhananjay ji had shown that image, where one is seated. It's little lower than the higher side. Yeah.
नहीं, पर क्या वजह है?
I mean,
Are
I'm
they
still
three
trying to.
same or
Yeah.
are they different forms?
They are different forms. They
They're
are different forms. Yes.
Okay, so we are really going into iconography.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
There will certainly be some local myths and legends associated with it that we can explore. There can be another aspect of it. All right, any more questions? I think we can move on to the next presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Vinita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation. Now, moving on, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Partha Datta, who is an Assistant Exhibition Officer at Tripura Tourism Development Corporation Limited. And with over 22 years of experience, Mr. Datta is a passionate advocate for Tripura's cultural and tourism heritage. And he is an enthusiastic ambassador of the state's rich traditions, including its unique cuisine, culture, and attire. So now, Mr. Datta will be presenting on his research paper, Upgradation of Unakoti Archaeological Site as World Heritage Site, Financial Measures, Difficulties, and Solutions for Dossier Preparation. So over to you, Datta, sir. I think we can share his slide now.
Good evening to all. Next. Some picture of UNESCO World Heritage Site in India. Next. Description of Unakoti. The images found at Unakoti are two types, namely rock carved figures and stone images. Among the rock cut carving, the central Shiva head and gigantic figures deserve special mention. The central Shiva head, known as Unakoti Shorik Kali Bhairava, is about 30 feet height, including embroidered headdress with itself is 10 feet high. On each side of the headdress of the central Shiva, there are two full-size female figures. One of Durga standing on a lion and another female figure on the other side. In addition, 3 enormous images of Nandi bull are found half buried in the ground. There are various other stone as well as rock cut images at Unakoti. Next. Unakoti is an important site of archaeological wonder. Unakoti is a historic Shaiva pilgrims spot and dates back to 7th to 9th century. The name Unakoti literally means one less than 1 crore. It is an ancient holy place. According to legend and mythology, one Lord Shiva was going to Kashi along with 1 crore god and goddess. On the way, they were compelled to rest for the night at this place, namely Raghunath Hillock. Before going to sleep, Lord Shiva instructed two fellow gods to wake up before sunrise to resume the journey for Kashi. But no one could get up the next morning. Next morning to start their journey for Kashi, except Lord Shiva himself. At this time, Lord Shiva became very angry with his fellow gods and goddess and crushed them to become stone. Another mythology is कालो कुमार, जो विश्वकर्मा गॉड है, उनका पिता का नाम है. उन्होंने बहुत बढ़िया आर्टिस्ट था, तो अपने गॉड एंड गॉडेस ने उनको बोला, तुम एक दिन में 1 करोड़ इमेजेस काट करना होगा इस पहाड़ में. तो इसीलिए उन्होंने कर नहीं पाया 24 आवर्स में, इसीलिए इसका नाम हुआ 1 less than 1 crore, माने उनकोटी. Every year, a big fair popularly known as Oshokostami Mela is held every month of April-May, where thousands of pilgrims participated. Next. Financial measures, funding requirements, cost involved in upgrading the site, including conservation, restoration, infrastructure development. Number 2, potential funding sources. Possible funding sources such as government scheme, international bank loan, public-private partnership. Number 3, sustainable tourism practice. Sustainable tourism practices can generate revenue and support the conservation of the site. Next. Difficulties. A challenge in conservation. Cooperation is an important principle of sustainable development because it upholds several principles of sustainability, including efficiency, equity, cultural, ecological integrity, community ownership, integration, holism, and harmony. Number 2, in the tourism sector, it refers primarily to collaboration between government agency, private and public sectors, in different levels of government within a state and between private sector business or organization. Such collaboration efforts are important for assuring equality of opportunity and the recognition of needs among stakeholders. It is also assist in creating harmonious relationship between key players and the environment and economy. Next, the collaborative approach is especially important in the realm of heritage management, for the past is so often contested between groups, and many overlapping authorities lay claim to historic artifacts and places. Without adequate cooperation, sites are neglected, overused, or caught in legal battles, and regional plans are virtually impossible to carry out in an adequate manner. Next. Next. Impact of human activities, agriculture activities, soil erosion, chemical contamination, and physical damage to structures and artifacts, looting and theft, loss of valuable artifacts, damage to structures, and disruption of site context, illegal digging and excavation, damage to underground structures, loss of artifacts, and compromise of site integrity, tourism and visitor pressure, erosion, littering, and damage to structures and artifacts due to increased footfall, urbanization and development, encroachment, construction, and infrastructure development threatening the site's boundaries and integrity, neglect and lack maintenance, deterioration of structure, overgrowth of vegetation, and accumulation of debris. Natural threats, weathering, exposure to wind, rain, temperature fluctuation causes deterioration of stone structure and artifacts, erosion, soil erosion and landslides due to heavy rainfall or flooding threaten the site's foundation and structural integrity. Climate changes, rising temperatures, changing precipitation patterns, and increased frequency of extreme weather events exacerbate weathering and erosion. Vegetation growth. Uncontrolled vegetation growth can cause structural damage, root penetration, and soil instability. Water seepage. Rainwater, groundwater seepage can cause structural damage, erosion, and deterioration of artifacts. Earthquake and seismic activity. Seismic events can cause structural damage, collapse, or displacement of artifacts. Flood and landslide. Flooding and landslide can cause erosion, sedimentation, damage to structure and artifacts. Pests and rodents. Infestation by pests and rodents can cause damage to artifacts, structure, and site infrastructure. Next. Solution of dossier preparation. Despite the challenges discussed above, heritage and archaeological site conservation provides many opportunities. Although tourism and heritage preservation may appear to the strange bedfellows, a synergy can be developed when tourism is heritage site is properly managed. Conservation of heritage ensures that it becomes a resource for development in remote and economically peripheral regions of a country. Tourism development at heritage site can bring improved income and living standards for local people. It stimulates the economy in rural and remote regions by creating demand for agriculture produce and through infrastructure development project, as it did in Lumbini, Nepal, where many local were employed as construction workers, and then some were hired as a permanent employees to take care of the Buddhist temple. Stakeholder engagement. In the tourism sector, it refers primarily to collaboration between government agency, private and public sectors, different levels of government with the state, and between private sector, business or organization. Next. Next. Mitigating risks, conservation and management plan, disaster planning and management, risk assessment, retrofitting, management planning, conservation planning, site development planning, visitor control, reinvestment of revenues into the heritage assets. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Mr. Datta, for your comprehensive presentation. We will now open the floor for questions. So our audience may share the queries in the chat box too. You can ask the question directly. Is there any query, question? You can drop it in the chat box and I will address them to Mr. Datta.
Okay, I have a query or a comment. I think I'll call it a comment, if I may. So it's very useful that you have presented. In your presentation, you've talked about the challenges, because when the dossier is finally prepared and given to UNESCO for them to do their work, one of the things that they will ask the external evaluation mission and the desk review people is about the challenges, about the threats. So by actually clarifying at this stage, threats from, say, rodents, from natural calamities, it's already a very good, useful step towards the future of dossier. And the other very good part that is coming out from this is that you've emphasized how tourism and conservation or heritage preservation can go hand in hand, and they're not enemies of each other like sometimes has wrongly happened. And that development, if done properly, and you've given the examples, you've talked of Lumbini and of Buddhist sites, where these can become a win-win situation. So I think this is very useful. If you'd like to just maybe explain a little more.
Ma'am, you can repeat your question to Mr. Datta.
Huh. It is very useful. You have talked about the challenges, about the threats from nature, other things. The second part, which is very good for when the UNESCO के लिए dossier बनेगा, and that is you are also talking about how tourism can help with heritage protection and conservation. तो इन दोनों चीजों पे अगर आप थोड़ा सा और ऐड करना चाहें, please go ahead.
Actually, मैडम, ये तो हम अब जो बोला था, तो मैंने एक रिटर्न देके अथॉरिटी के बोल देंगे, तो उन लोग हमारा जो एक्सपर्ट है, एक्सपर्ट तो टूरिज्म का ऊपर एक्सपर्ट है, एक एक जगह है, जैसे मैंने एग्जीबिशन के लिए वैसे, तो हम हमारा जो अथॉरिटी है, आज का मीटिंग के बारे में हम डिटेल्स बोलेंगे, आप लोग क्या क्या बोला था और कोई सजेशन है कि नहीं. लेकिन मैम एक्चुअली उनकोटी में जो काम हो रहा है, जिस भी काम होता है, तो इसलिए मैंने देखा अथॉरिटी ने चिट्ठी लिखा है आर्कियोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट में, एक भी काम हम लोग कुछ नहीं कर पाते हैं. इधर रास्ता बनाना है, कुछ करना है, इसके लिए परमिशन लेना पड़ता है. तो मैम आप जो बोला, हम कल माने सोम मंडे में हम ऑफिस में बोल देंगे, कोई सजेशन होगा इसके बारे में तो चिट्ठी लिख के मेल करके देने के लिए।
तो आपको पहले से ही बता दे कि अगर ये यूनेस्को विश्व धरोहर बन जाएगा तो आप पे बंदिश और भी ज्यादा आ जाएगा। काम तो फिर भी कर सकोगे, लेकिन
ठीक ठीक ठीक।
परमिशन फिर भी लेना पड़ेगा।
हाँ
पर हम तो चाहते हैं कि विश्व धरोहर बन जाए।
हाँ,
एक शायद
थैंक यू थैंक यू थैंक यू
है,
मैम।
एक शायद ज्योति मैम का भी हाथ अब इस पे आया हुआ था।
Ji, ma'am, thank you so much. Actually, I was just thinking because since I've been to the site, when we talk about tourism, very few people go there. You know, it's very difficult to access that place. And I think over tourism, if it happens, it's going to destroy the site. So first thing first is the proper documentation of the site is very, very important. And secondly, if you want, राइट, तो अगर हम ज्यादा टूरिज्म वहां पर करते हैं तो वो शायद साइट के लिए बहुत नुकसानदेह होगा।
एक्चुअली मैडम एयरपोर्ट से उनकोटी 182 किलोमीटर, फ्रॉम अगरतला एयरपोर्ट से उनकोटी का डिस्टेंस 182।
सर मैं जा चुकी हूँ, मैं उनकोटी खुद जा चुकी हूँ।
लेकिन मैडम इसमें एंट्रेंस जो नेशनल हाईवे से जो उनकोटी का एंट्रेंस है वो रोड बहुत नैरो है, नंबर 2। नंबर 3 मैडम, इस उनकोटी को बेस करके लोकल पीपल का जो ट्रेडिशनल फूड है, उसका ऑर्नामेंट्स है, उसका जो ट्रेडिशनल ड्रेस है, ये डिस्प्ले करना चाहिए, मतलब सेल करना चाहिए, तो और भी अट्रैक्शन बढ़ जाएगा। तो इसीलिए शेड होना चाहिए।
नहीं, वो बिल्कुल सही है। तो मैं जो कहना चाह रही हूँ, क्योंकि उनकोटी ऐसी साइट है, मैं अगर आप मेरे से पूछे तो मेरे लिए वो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट साइट है। एंड इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जो ट्राइबल और जो क्लासिकल इमेजरी को मिला करके, मतलब जो आइकोनोग्राफी है उसको मिला करके जो बना है, मैंने शायद कहीं और ऐसा नहीं देखा है। तो उस हिसाब से साइट बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। दूसरे कि उसको बचाना बहुत जरूरी है, बट उसके लिए इट्स अ वेरी बिग चैलेंज ऑल्सो, क्योंकि वो साइट बहुत ही मतलब डिफरेंट लेवल्स पे भी है। एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ ASI इज वर्किंग ऑन इट, बिकॉज मेरे को तो विजिट किए हुए 3-4 साल हो गए। मेरा प्लान है दोबारा वहां जाने का।
ठीक है,
तो
वेलकम मैम।
लेकिन उसके आसपास की जगह भी डेवलप होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ना वहां पर कुछ रहने का है। मैं अगरतला बेस्ड थी और अगरतला से मैंने ट्रेन पकड़ के मैं वहां गई और डे का ट्रिप करके वापस आई, क्योंकि वहां रहने की कोई जगह नहीं है। तो टूरिज्म के लिए भी तो वहां पर कुछ करना पड़ेगा
ना
ना।
ना मैडम जगह है, ये जो उनकोटी स्पॉट है, ये जो उनकोटी डिस्ट्रिक्ट का जो मेन हेड ऑफिस है, उनकोटी का डिस्ट्रिक्ट का जो मेन हेड ऑफिस है, उसका नाम है कोयला शहर। कोयला शहर में मैडम हमारा भी होटल है, टूरिज्म का होटल है एक, और प्राइवेट होटल भी है 2-3।
ठीक ठीक है, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू मैम।
Madhu ma'am has a question. She's asking about the basic tourism amenities available there.
Can I talk?
Yes, yes.
No, Madhu ma'am, you have given your observation and others.
Namaste, everyone. It is lovely to see our brothers and sisters from Northeast and Rimaji here. Thank you for the opportunity of talking. I have just few observations. I'm sure you have all the right answer for it. How about communicating with the students, like, you know, जो school के बच्चे हैं, college के बच्चे हैं, what is the frequency of they coming here? Because I know our speaker himself is from ICFA University. I used to teach here in ICFA University, Hyderabad. Maybe some collaboration that within the university that, you know, one group from Hyderabad goes there and they become the local host. So how active is the local community? This is my question for tourism. Because with due respect to that expecting a World Heritage tag is phenomenal, of course. But till we reach the tag, why don't we make it the one of the best national sites so that people come? Because we are talking about sustainability, we are talking about people being there, we are talking about the fear of over tourism. So to answer all that, first is that locals should respect and a lot of locals should come there. That's the whole idea. So what is the promotion plan at a regional level that I would like to know? If there is any tourism policy by Tripura government which supports Unakoti.
Yeah, madam, good evening. I am Dr. Dhananjay Dutta. Yeah, you rightly said, like from ICFA University, Tripura.
Yes.
Personally, I am very much close to Tripura Tourism Development Corporation, and since 2007, our students are having internship, summer internship program in Tripura Tourism, in all tourist spots of Tripura, including Unakoti. Our students are visiting every year, and we are having internship. Then we do observe, World Tourism Day at our university. Tripura Tourism is our university different program sponsor also. They have sponsored our seminar, then few more events also. Then we have conducted one advertisement making competition on Tripura Tourism, in 2013. So we are conducting it, but yeah, what you have suggested, we can connect it with Hyderabad also, IBS Hyderabad. So yeah, it will be a good opportunity to connect it with the mainstream India and other universities also. So,
Government of
we'll work on
India, I think for 3 or 4 years they run this project, which is like the way you have a sister city. So there is a sister state. I remember Telangana had a sister state as Haryana. So what Tripura can bring, or the other southern state or western state can bring to Tripura, the exchange we are talking about. As I said, our country is so big. There are many people who can be the visitors. And as I said, due respect to the international public and the revenue generation from international, but local can also be looked at. Thank you very much.
Yeah, madam, you may have asked another question regarding tourist amenities in the tourist spots.
Yeah.
See, like in Tripura, like especially in Unakoti, Tripura Tourism Development Corporation, they have one tourist lodge. Okay, so our students during their internship, they are staying in those lodge. Okay, so like basic amenities are very good, and it is having a standard also. So regarding this, it's okay. It's okay, very good in Tripura, especially in Unakoti and other schools.
Another thing comes heritage education. So have we generated enough material like activity books on this site for the local school children? I really feel that takes a long way. I'm not saying that immediately looking at the book, people will come to you, but yes, it answers the same question. Like, in Hyderabad, we have generated so much of tourism awareness material. People know what is heritage, people know what is architecture. So if you need any help in generating such material, maybe, we can collaborate from cultural tourism. ICOMOS. Thank you.
Yeah, madam, it can be proceed. We can proceed further in this regard. We have not prepared earlier. We are having one program, Bachelor of Tourism and Travel Management. So actually, as Tripura is a very small place, the total state population is near about 40 lakhs according to 2011 census. Now it may increase to 45 or 46 lakh whole to state population, and in and around Agartala capital city, 4 to 6 lakhs are staying. So as the population is very small, so running a like a tourism kind of program we found very difficult. Okay, so and that was basically the point we are bound to discontinue, and with that what you are proposing, that also were not happened. But if 2 years back also we have taken one initiative to run a diploma program on tourist guide, okay, training, all these kind of things. But that also that we are working out, but we have interacted with Tripura Tourism also. So hopefully, what you have suggested, we can continue with this. Madam, presently you are working where?
अगर किचन
You are
गंदी
mute.
है तो
You
तेरा
are
बैंड
mute.
बजा दूंगी.
You are
Madam, you
mute.
are mute.
Hello. Since 2009, I have been working with the state government on different tourism projects. I write independently. So I have written extensively on Hyderabad, 275 sites of Hyderabad. I have written books for children. I have written books on miniature painting. So I'm not seeing Tripura just as one state. I'm seeing it as, something like treasures of Northeast. And, the college students are not the only one I'm looking at. I'm looking at the youngest of school students because nowadays there's a lot of inflow of tourists from one state to another. So your market is actually school children. I really feel that.
Yeah.
So we
That
generate
is
books for
basically
school children.
the focus point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for
And that's
this
why
purpose, what we can do?
So that's what I'm saying. At least the department must look into generating some material for school children, some storybooks, some activity sheets, which can be put on their own website and also India Tourism website. So that, in the process of learning, people will go to that site and of course they will download the material and get to know so much about these sites. See, when you go to US, I went to US in 2012, they have some very small sites and they promote it like anything. So we should not look at the population of the state itself. We should also look at like a catching what do you say, the catchment area. So your catchment area, I would
Yeah.
say, would be huge when you work with school children. And of course, with school children, the whole family comes.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. So
Yeah.
I'm taking note of this and I will discuss with the Tripura tourism authorities.
I'll
Yeah,
be
and
happy to write
actually
for
what I
you.
have noticed, madam, when we observed World Tourism Day and this kind of program, they distribute leaflet brochures with some study material to the all participants. One thing. Then recently Tripura Tourism have introduced a homestay in Tripura. Homestay, I hope you understood. So
Yes.
homestay, they are giving license to the individuals to establish a homestay at different remote location or in hilly areas. Okay, so there what you said, the school connection will work very effectively. If this can be propagate to schools with some study materials and things, it will more effective and it will be result
Connecting
oriented.
with the local curriculum, connecting with the national curriculum, where your local history fits into the national history, we can definitely make a lot of change. And the government is pro for it. I mean, they are active, I would say, right now. The central government is quite active. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Is there any more? I think we do not have more questions now. So moving on with the agenda, I would like to invite Madhu Watery, ma'am, coordinator of National Scientific Committee of Cultural Tourism, to share her observations and to summarize the discussion so far. So Madhu, ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that. Just now I had all the discussion. So congratulations to the, I would say, my brothers and sisters of Northeast, Tripura, Unakoti. I wish all the best that we do get a World Heritage tag. But if not also, as I said, we are there to take care of our own sites. That's how I see it. And we have enough people who will visit, who will promote, and who would love to see their sites in good condition. There are many good examples from across the country, which are not the World Heritage Site yet quite popular. All our religious sites are not the World Heritage Sites yet they have enough footfall. And our speakers already talked about the sustainable cultural tourism, not only cultural tourism. They did talk about their fear of over tourism, the pollution, and the you can say the rock art what is getting damaged. I'm sure that the government will look into it, and very soon we'll have another session to assess the progress of the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Sankakuti sir, is Venugopal sir present in the meeting?
No.
And Mrinalari Atre?
No.
All right. So I think we can move on to our last part of the program, that is the vote of thanks. And I would like to invite Dr. Dilip, Engineer Dilip Chankakoti, coordinator.
No. You invite the Arijit.
Arijit.
Arijit Nandi.
All right, sir. So sorry, because okay, this is not the updated later. All right, so I invite Arijit Nandi sir to deliver, extend the vote of thanks.
Hello, hi, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So respected dignitaries and speakers and dear audience, it's both a privilege and a pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this enlightening session on the Unakoti site in Tripura. This discussion has been so far very wonderful, confluence of history, culture, heritage, shedding light on one of Northeast India's most fascinating treasures, as well as the limitation and challenges that we have faced so far. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speakers, Professor Dhananjoy Datta and Mr. Partha Datta, whose deep insights and expertise have brought to life the mysteries and grandeur of Unakoti. Your valuable perspectives on the historical, artistic, as well as the challenges of this site have enriched our understanding and appreciation for this extraordinary landmark. Special thanks to Dr. Vinita for skillfully guiding this discussion and ensuring a seamless flow of dialogue. Your thoughtful engagement kept the conversation very dynamic and meaningful. So thank you so much. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the tireless effort of the Northeast organizing team under Engineer Dilip Chankakoti sir, and there is Dr. Sanjeev Chankakoti. Yes,
Sanjeev Borkakoti.
Yes, Borkakoti. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I got that wrong. So I apologize for that. But your tireless efforts are commendable, and your dedication to creating such a vibrant and inspiring series is commendable. As we wrap up this session, let us carry forward the inspiration and knowledge gained today to preserve and promote the heritage of Unakoti and similar treasures across our nation. Once again, thank you all for making this discussion a memorable and meaningful experience. From Tripura, I would like to request that we would want to see more members joining in ICOMOS. And the last date to submit the application is 21st of January 2025. So, yep, wishing you a wonderful continuation of this unfolding Northeast series. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arijit. Chankakoti sir, would you like to give any concluding remark? Chankakoti sir, are you there? All right, so I think with this, we can conclude today's webinar. And I thank all the speakers, participants, and organizers for their valuable contributions. And together we can preserve, promote the rich cultural heritage of Unakoti. And wishing you all a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you so much.
I wish you all 26 January in advance.
Thank you.
Wish you all.
Thank you. Bye.